This is Mr. B. Continuing on with Chapter 19, this is our last section. Today we're actually going to look at diseases that are caused by bacteria and viruses. And so this is going to be the focus of this section. Again, this is the only reason why bacteria and viruses are both grouped together in the same chapter. It's because they can both cause disease. So they start by claiming that bacteria and viruses are everywhere in nature, but only a few cause disease. So we've looked at how they help humans, there are way more than actually help humans and harm humans. However, they kind of all get a bad rap because of the few that actually can cause disease. And our term that we can use to describe disease-causing agents are called pathogens. So this is going to be an important word. You're going to need to know that a disease-causing agent is known as a pathogen. So today, we're going to look at mainly the bacterial side of diseases, whereas tomorrow we're going to look at some with the viruses. So bacterial disease in humans. So growth of pathogenic bacteria disrupts the body's equilibrium by interfering with its normal activities and producing disease. And that's just a fancy way of saying that bacteria basically cause disease by messing up how our body usually reacts, how it kind of wants to carry out its normal functions. Bacteria are going to disrupt basically our body's normal functions, and that's going to lead to what we know as disease. And so how do bacteria cause disease in humans? They usually produce disease in one of two general ways. So the first way is that some bacteria damage the cells and tissues of the infected organism directly by breaking down the cells for food. So that would mean literally a bacteria would get inside of our body and it would eat our food for breakfast, or eat our cells for breakfast basically. That's what it would do. It would use our cells for food. However, there are other bacteria that will release toxins or poisons that travel throughout the body, which will interfere with the normal activity of the host. So this is almost like a byproduct, if you will. So some bacteria will release toxins that the bacteria themselves don't directly hurt us, it's the toxin that they produce. And here are just a list of some diseases that are caused by bacteria in humans. We have Lyme disease, tetanus, tuberculosis, bacterial meningitis, and strep throat. And this is just kind of some of the effects that they have, and we'll talk about more of those in depth in class, and you're actually going to take a look at your own bacterial disease as well. And many bacterial diseases can be prevented by vaccines, and a vaccine is simply a preparation of weakened or killed pathogens. And so when injected into the body, a virus may prompt the body's immunity to the disease, and immunity is the body's ability to destroy new pathogens. So how a vaccine works is we literally shoot either severely weakened or dead pathogens into our body, so then our body sees these pathogens, they can react to them, and so if they ever come back, then our body will be ready to actually fight off that disease when it comes around again. So it's basically preparing our body for the real thing. So we give our body a dead or weakened pathogen, and then when the real alive pathogen comes in, our body can respond to it and kill it before it harms us. And then if the vaccine, let's say we don't get a vaccine, or if a vaccine doesn't work and an infection actually occurs, we can use drugs to destroy the bacteria. These drugs include antibiotics, which are compounds that block the growth and reproduction of bacteria. So this is important, that they block the growth and reproduction of bacteria. An antibiotic can do absolutely nothing against a virus. So antibiotics, I'm sure you guys have all taken an antibiotic, can only fight against bacteria. And a big reason for increased human life expectancy is an increased understanding of how to prevent and cure bacterial infections. So there was a time where someone could be out in their garden and they get nipped by a thorn from a rose bush, and that can lead to such a bad infection that they would die. So we know now how to prevent these things, but way back when, that actually was a huge problem. So moving on, controlling bacteria. So we're not all infected by bacteria constantly, so we obviously have some ways to control how they grow. So there's three main ways: sterilization, disinfectants, and food processing. So we're going to get an in-depth look at each one of those. So sterilization by heat. So sterilization will destroy bacteria by subjecting them to great heat. That simply means that we expose them to great heat. And most bacteria are killed by prolonged high temperatures. So if we leave a bacteria exposed to heat for long enough, it will kill them. Next one, disinfectants. These are chemical solutions that will kill pathogenic bacteria, and they are used to clean rooms where bacteria may flourish. So in a hospital, kind of has that just clean smell to it, if you will. That's the smell of disinfectants. And then our last one is food storage and processing. So bacteria can cause food to spoil. Obviously, that's why we need kind of refrigeration. Oh, that's our next blank there. That refrigerated food stays fresh longer because the bacteria will take longer to multiply. Now, putting things in a fridge does not kill the bacteria. It only slows it down, basically. So putting things in a fridge, the bacteria will eventually grow. It just takes them longer to grow. And then our last one is boiling, frying, or steaming can sterilize certain foods. Again, that's going back to the point that heat will kill bacteria. So that's it for bacterial disease. Let me know if you have any questions.